Welcome to Daily Dreamer, the podcast that provides practical tips and insights to help you reach your biggest dreams. Tune in for daily doses of motivation, inspiration, and actionable advice to turn your aspirations into reality. Whether you're looking to find clarity, boost your confidence, or stay on track with your goals, Daily Dreamer is here to guide you every step of the way.
All right, so everyone wanted the lowdown on this Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, huh?
Definitely a clash of generations, right?
Like, we're talking YouTuber turned boxer against, like, a straight-up legend.
Yeah.
I mean, just tons of hype around this whole thing, and let's just say the outcome got people talking.
For sure.
It really did.
Especially with the age difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're talking 31 years between them.
Crazy.
Paul's 27, Tyson's 58.
Like, that's unheard of in pro boxing, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and we got to remember, this fight was supposed to happen back in July,
Oh, yeah.
but it got pushed back.
Tyson's health, right?
Exactly.
Remember, he was throwing up blood on that flight because of his ulcer.
Oh, man, that was scary.
Really raised questions about whether this fight should even happen.
Yeah, was it ethical?
Exactly.
Was Tyson pushing it too far?
Big questions.
But November 15th came around, and there they were at AT&T Stadium in Texas.
Under the lights.
We're ready to rumble.
And you know what?
What's that?
Netflix had the exclusive rights to this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That tells you something right there.
Definitely shows the kind of buzz this fight was getting.
Big time.
Huge.
I think everybody was expecting a knockout.
Oh, for sure. Like a classic Mike Tyson performance.
Like vintage Iron Mike, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was picturing Tyson just unleashing that signature power.
Bringing back those iconic moments.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Yes.
Jake Paul won.
He didn't just win.
Yeah.
He dominated.
Tell me about it.
The judges scored it 80, 72, 79, 73, and 79, 73.
Wow.
All in favor of Paul.
A unanimous decision.
Unanimous.
Which really shows you how much he controlled the fight.
Yeah.
I bet that's not what you're expecting, huh?
Not at all. Yeah.
But hold on.
Like,
Let's
sure.
not jump to conclusions just yet.
Right.
Before we do anything, let's break down what actually happened in that ring.
I'm with you.
Because the fight wasn't the slugfest everyone thought it would be.
Yeah, not at all.
Not even close.
More like a strategic chess match.
That's a good way to put it.
And Paul played it smart. You know,
Oh, yeah.
he used his youth and his reach to his advantage.
Kept Tyson at a distance,
Yeah.
avoiding those close-range exchanges where Tyson could, unloaded.
Exactly.
So was this just brilliant boxing from Paul, or was he playing it safe?
That's a good question.
What do you think?
I mean, some might say he was being cautious, but you have to acknowledge the skill it takes to pull that off against a fighter like Mike Tyson.
For sure.
Paul studied the tapes. He knew what Tyson was going to bring,
Oh, yeah.
and he adapted his game plan accordingly.
He definitely did, and you can't argue with the results.
Nope.
But let's be real, Tyson looked his age in there. 58 years old.
And he was wearing that leg brace.
During the fight,
Yeah.
you could see the physical difference between the two.
Oh, yeah.
And if we look at the punch stats,
What do they tell us?
Paul landed 78 out of 278 punches.
Wow.
Tyson only landed 18 out of 97.
Oof, those numbers don't lie.
No, they don't.
Tyson just couldn't connect the way he needed to,
And remember, they were wearing 14-ounce gloves.
which can really soften the blow of those power punches.
Exactly.
Plus, the rounds were shorter than usual,
It's just 2 minutes each.
which probably contributed to the lack of, a knockout.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair to say Paul's strategy combined with Tyson's age and, those physical limitations,
They all played a part.
they all led to this outcome.
Before we get into all the reactions and the fallout from this fight,
Okay,
let's touch on the undercard real quick.
sure.
There were some other interesting matchups that night.
Yeah, like that rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
Oh, yeah, the lightweight titles were on the line for that one.
That was close.
And a bit controversial.
For sure, Taylor won by unanimous decision.
But there were some questionable moments
Yeah, like those headbutts.
added to the drama of the night.
Oh, yeah.
But let's be honest, all eyes were on the main event.
Of course.
The build-up, the hype, the age difference, those health concerns.
It all came down to those 8 rounds.
And I don't think it lived up to expectations.
Not in the way that people were hoping, anyway.
But it definitely got people talking.
Oh, yeah.
Some were praising Paul's strategy.
While others questioned Tyson's decision to even fight.
Yeah, the reactions were definitely mixed.
That's for sure.
But before we get into all that,
Okay.
let's take a closer look at the fighters' strategies.
Sounds good.
Because I think that's where the real story is.
I think so too.
Understanding what they were trying to do.
And how it all unfolded.
That's crucial to understanding the significance of this whole thing.
Definitely crucial.
We were talking about how Paul approached this fight, right?
Keeping Tyson at bay.
Using his reach and all that footwork.
Yeah, avoiding those power punches.
But what about Tyson? What was his game plan?
Well, everyone pretty much thought Tyson was going to try to overwhelm Paul early.
Right, with that signature power.
The classic Iron Mike approach, you know?
Getting close. Unleash those hooks.
And try to end it quick.
Makes sense given the age difference. Tyson probably knew that the longer the fight went,
The worse it would be for him.
exactly, his age and his conditioning would start to show.
Big time.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
Paul knew that too.
He did.
He studied Tyson's tapes like crazy.
All those fights.
And his whole plan was to counter that aggressive style.
See, that's what makes this fight so interesting.
Yeah,
It wasn't just a physical thing.
it was a mental battle too.
Paul knew what Tyson was going to do,
He was ready for it
and he neutralized Tyson's biggest weapon,
by staying out of range.
picking his shots.
You could see the frustration building in Tyson,
Oh, yeah.
round after round.
He couldn't land those punches,
He couldn't get inside.
and that frustration led to mistakes.
Openings for Paul.
You could see it in the punch stat,
Paul was landing consistently.
and Tyson just couldn't connect.
And the crowd, they could feel the energy shifting.
Oh, yeah.
At first, it was all excitement.
Everyone wanted that Tyson knockout.
But then it was like disappointment.
Yeah, even concern.
It's funny you mentioned the crowd,
Why is that?
because their reaction became a huge part of the post-fight talk.
A lot of people felt let down.
Like the fight was a bust.
It didn't live up to the hype.
Social media was going nuts.
Oh, yeah,
Celebrities, athletes, everybody was talking about it.
I bet.
I remember J.J. Watt tweeted,
What do you say?
"Mad at myself for staying awake for that I know bet."
Oh,
Kind of brutal, right?
a little bit.
A lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, Robert Griffin III was worried about Tyson.
And Tony Ballou, he actually blamed the audience.
What?
He said we were all complicit.
For letting the fight happen.
It started a whole debate about whether this fight should have even happened.
Right, was it fair to Tyson?
Was it ethical?
Tough questions.
No easy answer.
But we got to remember,
What's that?
Tyson chose to fight.
He did.
He wanted this.
And no matter what happened,
There's a certain respect that comes with that.
stepping into the ring at that age,
With that kind of legacy.
like he wanted to prove something.
Maybe to himself.
Maybe to the world.
But instead of a comeback,
We saw a fighter struggling against time.
which brings us to those post-fight interviews.
Right, because that's where things get interesting.
How so?
Instead of being angry,
Or bitter.
Tyson actually expressed respect for Paul.
Really?
He even said Paul deserves respect from the public.
Wow, that's surprising.
Totally caught people off guard.
They thought Tyson would be furious.
Making excuses.
But he showed a lot of grace.
And humility.
It was unexpected.
It really was.
Says something about Tyson.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot.
Inside the ring and outside.
He's seen it all.
The highest highs and the lowest lows.
It's like he's reached a point of acceptance
It's that kind of wisdom.
from facing his own limits.
It has a powerful moment.
Definitely added another layer to this whole thing.
Because it's easy to just focus on who won or lost.
Right, but there's always more to it.
Every fight is a story.
A narrative.
And this story wasn't just about winning or
It
losing.
was about legacy.
The passage of time.
A young fighter challenging a legend.
And it was about adaptation.
How so?
Paul adapted to Tyson's style.
He did.
Found a way to neutralize that power.
And he outboxed him.
But even in defeat, Tyson stole the show.
Really?
Not with his fists, but with his words.
What do you mean?
That comment about fighting Logan Paul next,
Jake Paul's brother.
it was cryptic.
Left everyone wondering if he was serious.
So we're left with a lot of questions, right?
I guess so.
What does this mean for Jake Paul's career?
Did it hurt Tyson's legacy?
Or did it somehow make it better?
And what's next for both of them?
Will Tyson actually fight again?
Will Paul keep taking on these big names?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I guess so.
But one thing's for sure.
What's that?
This fight was about way more than just two guys in a ring.
It was a cultural moment.
A clash of generations.
A look into the future of boxing.
And it left us with more questions than answers.
Definitely.
Speaking of the future,
What about it?
there's one more thing we got to talk about.
Okay. Something that adds a whole new layer to this.
I'm listening.
Okay, so after the fight, Tyson said something pretty wild.
Oh, yeah.
He admitted that he was actually scared of Jake Paul hurting him in the fight.
Whoa, really?
Mike Tyson's scared of a YouTuber turned boxer.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Right, it's Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet.
I know.
So what does that say about Jake Paul?
Hmm.
That he was able to make Tyson afraid of him?
I think it shows that Paul has earned some respect.
Even from guys like Tyson.
The old guard, you know?
Yeah, he may have started out in a weird way,
Unconventional, for sure.
but he's shown that he's serious about boxing.
No doubt about that.
This isn't some celebrity just messing around.
Not anymore.
Paul's training hard. He's in great shape.
And he's getting better?
You could see it against Tyson.
He wasn't just swinging for the fences.
There was strategy.
Technique.
He knew Tyson's weaknesses.
He did his homework.
So Tyson's fear, whether it was real or in his head?
It adds a whole new layer to this fight.
Right.
It's like a passing of the torch.
Oh, yeah, the old guard recognizing the new generation.
And this new generation, they get it.
What do you mean?
There's media savvy. They know how to build a brand
And they're bringing in new fans.
to the sport.
Which is huge.
It's like we're seeing combat sports evolve.
Right before our eyes.
Athleticism plus online fame plus marketing.
And that brings up some interesting questions.
Like what?
Will the old school boxing fans accept this change?
Or will they push back?
And will we see more of these crossover fights?
Legends versus social media stars.
Tyson even mentioned fighting Logan Paul.
Crazy.
Who knows what's next?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
But this fight definitely started a conversation.
About how boxing is changing.
And that conversation's not going away anytime soon.
So there you have it. Our deep dive into Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
A fight that was about so much more than just boxing.
A clash of
A
generations.
spectacle for the whole world.
And a glimpse into the future of the sport.
A future full of questions.
What did this fight make you think about?
How do you see the world of boxing changing?
We want to hear from you.
Hit us up on social media and let us know your take.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.